Today I'm cooking up an epic Detroit style pizza using 2 bits of kit that have changed the way I cook at home. Got the Halo Pro spiral mixer here and the Ooni Volt 2. I love Detroit style pizza because it's a high hydration dough, very similar to focaccia. So I've got some strong white bread flour here, super high protein content, which means it can take way more water. So we're gonna get the dry stuff in Halo Pro first. So we've got the flour here. I've got my salt as well. So we're gonna get that in the bowl ready to go. I've got my water all measured out and I've got my yeast here as well. Now this water is cold. I measured it out, I just put it in the fridge for a little bit, just because when this mixer mixes, it's gonna slowly warm the water. If I put it in at room temperature, it's gonna get hotter and hotter, it's gonna start to kill the yeast, so I don't want that. So all I'm doing, just giving it a little mix, letting the yeast just dissolve, not too much, literally like 10 seconds, and that kind of just helps the process, it gets it going. And when you're pouring it in, you just wanna make sure that all the yeast goes in, because you've measured it out for the recipe, and if loads gets stuck in the jug, then the amount that you want in the recipe isn't in there. So we're gonna get this down, switch it on. This is almost like a pre-mix. We're gonna mix it for 3 minutes. And the thing that's amazing about the Halo Pro is it does all the work for me. I could make this by hand. Because it's a high hydration dough, I would get the whole kitchen super messy. The worktop would be covered in dough. My hands would be super sticky. Not getting that today. So the first mix, I'm gonna set it to 120 RPM and I'm gonna put it on for 3 minutes and let it do the work. So I'm gonna have a quick sip of coffee and come back to it when it's done. There we go. So that's been mixing for 3 minutes at 120 RPM. When you do it, make sure you give it 10 minutes to rest, and that will just allow the dough to relax, and then we're gonna ramp it up again to 200 RPM and really develop a strong gluten network. This is why I love the Halo Pro, because it's so consistent when making dough, and it means that I have the reassurance that I can make great dough again and again and again, and ultimately that's what I want when I'm making pizza. So ramp it up, 120, make sure you've let it rest for 10 minutes, 120 RPM, and I'm gonna give that 5 minutes, and then this dough is gonna be super silky smooth. Okay, so this has been mixed now for 5 minutes, and it looks perfect. What I'm looking for with a DSP dough is I want it to be silky and smooth. It doesn't have to be super tight and taut. This is perfect. It's like the worst magic trick ever done on camera. Here we go, there we go. And all I'm gonna do now is just divide it into my 2 DSP dough balls. I'm just gonna tighten the top of it. So I've got my spatula here. I'm just gonna create a taut surface on it now. So once we've got a nice ball, I'm gonna split it in half. Now, you can weigh this out if you want to be super accurate. I tend not to be. But then you often have that one friend that goes, why is their pizza bigger than mine? And this is what I love about this DSP, because it's the same day dough recipe. If you get caught out, if you've got friends coming around, I often have friends come around to watch the football, it's like a last minute decision, and it's like, what can I make for them? This is what I turn to, because it's super easy to bake when people are there, and then just top it right at the end with all the great toppings and bake it in the oven. So that's perfect. So now we're gonna get our DSP tins, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna oil them really, really lightly. Basically what that does, it means when they bake, they don't stick to the sides, but also the base will just cook in that olive oil and it'll taste incredible and it'll guarantee that crispy base. So what I'm doing here is I've just got my fingers, I'm just gonna make sure that every part of the DSP tin is coated in oil, and then it will make sure it rises properly, it'll hit the sides and go up. And then we're gonna get our dough balls in there. So I'm gonna get the lid on, just to stop it from drying out. I'm gonna go over to the Volt, and we're gonna proof it. So I'm gonna put these in the Volt 2 now, on dough proof mode. And what I love about this is I know that it's got a warm, consistent environment, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm proving my dough. So I'm gonna put these in here, 2 hours, and just let the Volt do its thing, and we'll check back in on them and see how they're getting on. These are 2 hours now in the Volt on dough proof mode. So we're just gonna take a quick look. That's how I want it to look. You can see the bubbles are forming on the surface. We're just gonna cover it with a little bit of olive oil. With my fingers, I'm just gonna gently press the dough. And all I'm doing is I just want it to go into the corners and I want it to be even. And that avoids when you bake it, you don't want like the middle or one half to rise and the other half to not. So just really gently, the amount of bubbles that are coming off of here are amazing. Now this dough is actually handling really, really well. If you feel that yours is too tight and it's resisting going to the corners, just cover it again, give it 10 minutes, let it relax and you can go again. But I'm really, really happy with this. So the Volt 2 is in DSP mode, 275, it's ready to go, and we're gonna par bake our dough. So we're gonna get it in there, got my glove on, and this is the exciting bit because all it needs is 5 minutes. We're gonna just let the dough par bake, we're gonna bring it out, and then we're gonna top our DSP. So let's come back and see what happens. For 5 minutes, look at that. There's a little bit of color on top, it's perfect, it's risen really, really nicely. So we're gonna top it with cheese first, always cheese first. And basically, don't hold back, just go for it. And what we want is to cover the top completely in cheese, but also we wanna line these corners just full of cheese. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of just push a little bit on the edge, and that's gonna help get a really crisp edge. So next up, our sausage. Now this is just a bit of sausage that I've cooked up earlier. So I'm just gonna crumble it all over the top of the pizza. This sausage is just gonna crisp up on the top. Now I've got these Roquito chili peppers. So they just add a really nice amount of heat and I love them. To be fair, most pizzas that I make feature these. So sprinkle them over, super vibrant, add a nice bit of color. So I've got some pizza sauce here. I'm just gonna put 3 almost racing stripe lines along the top of it. So always cheese first on a DSP, sauce right at the end. And there we go. Look at that. That looks amazing. I'm gonna get that in the Volt. It's set to 275 in DSP mode. 12 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna keep checking, but this looks amazing and I can't wait to tuck into it, so let's get it in. Oh my goodness. The cheese is bubbling. I've got my DSP pan spatula here, so I'm just really gently around the edge. I'm just gonna release it. Then a quick movement, there we go, underneath, and we'll release it. Look at that, oh my gosh. That's cooked really, really well. The sides are super crispy. I can feel the dough. It's super light underneath, and that's what I want. And all I'm gonna do now is just finish it with a little bit of basil and then some hot honey. Now this is the moment you get this out and you've got friends around and they're just like fighting over which bit they want. I want the corner, I want the side. This is pure indulgence. And here we go, just got some hot honey here. Just gonna drench it. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is DSP perfection right there. My sausage and hot honey DSP. If you get a chance to make it at home, do it, because this recipe, same day dough, it can be made in advance ahead of time. It's super quick and honestly, it tastes unbelievable.